the raw and unfiltered, you know. Now, as you can see, I'm just carrying my chair, heading out in the middle of the desert. So let's do this. Having been born and raised in Africa, East Africa, Kenya, Nairobi is where I was raised and born, you know. But we used to shift from city to city because, you know, back in the days, my parents, I'm humbled enough that my parents did their level best to ensure that I got the best education which they could offer, you know. After finishing my primary school, before I proceeded to my secondary school, there's one thing that my teacher told me that will always remain in my mind. And on those meetings, you know, primary schools, we usually have meetings each and every, maybe reviewing of the term, closing date, we have meetings with parents. And this teacher told my parents that Ibrahim is a slow learner. Honestly, that thing really affected me. And all of my life, I've struggled to prove to the teacher that I'm not a slow learner. And only recently, like 3 to 4 years ago, is when I discovered I've been struggling too much because of this teacher. Then it's about time I free myself from that mental captivity that this teacher brought to me, you know. He planted that seed of, you are a slow learner. So I had to prove most of the time, but I said, enough is enough. I'm done. And that's finished. So I proceeded to secondary school, finished my secondary school, and to a college. I was lucky, and I'm thankful for that, you know. So I did a course in journalism and mass communication. I finished that, and I started the journey of, you know, hustling. Kenya, in Nairobi, but I've always been a believer of doing my own business, being my own boss, you know. And I don't know, from a tender age, I've always felt like I need to be my own boss. How can I do this? How can I push myself to become my own boss? So most of the gigs, most of the works that I've always done, they have been a base of, I'm not doing this for a long time. Same applies to where I am currently, here in Saudi Arabia. I'm here, but I'm not here to stay for years, you know. Stay for 10 years, 7 years, 12 years. No. I'm just here for a short time. And then I head back to my country, because I know that in my country, that is Kenya, and I'm very proud to say this, in my country, that's home, you know, east or west, that's home, and it's always the best. After finishing my college, I hustled here and there for a few years, till it reached a point that I said, now the way I'm surviving is slightly different, because I'm living in a food-to-mouth situation. Like, I'm working this time, I can be able to pay my bills, but I can't be in a position to do more, you know. So that's when I decided, how can I move to Saudi Arabia? And there are two people who I'll never forget in my life, you know. In every situation, there are just those people that, these are my stronghold people. These are the guys who will never forget. So there's this guy called Ajameng. That's the nickname. Ajameng. Ajameng, big up to you. Ajameng and a friend of his. Ajameng has traveled a lot in many countries. Not many per se, but he has been in and out in maybe some countries, Qatar, other 2 countries which I'm not sure of. And another friend of his by the name of Haidar. Those are 2 strong men who I'll never forget, because they changed my perspective. I've always felt like I can do more. I can push myself. I can go to another country. I want to do more. I want to live better life in terms of the income that I'm getting. I need to earn more. I need to provide more to my family. There's something which is holding me back, you know. But these 2 guys changed my whole perspective. Haidar is one of those guys who has been in Turkey for around 10 years. 7 to 10 years. And when I speak about Turkey, it's very sad about the earthquake. Turkey and Syria. We are standing by you people, and may God, the Almighty, give you hearts of patience, and protect and always guide your families, you know, because I know it's not easy. So Ajameng and Haidar were 2 friends, and I was one of the friends to Haidar, you know. Haidar, rumor spread that Haidar is around. So due to the thirst of information that I really wanted, I just texted him because he had the same number that he has been using for years. Yo bro, hope you're well. You arrived safe. I've heard that you're around. When you are free, let me know, because you cannot jump into a friend's house. It has been years before you see each other, so you need to do some requesting here and there. So kalas. After that, the bro was super happy, told me, tomorrow I'm around, just hop in anytime and then we'll talk. So luckily enough, that day when I went to visit Haidar is when Ajameng was around. We need to travel, guys, because we were on the same age group. Let's travel, let's try and push ourselves. You know, we are the future generation of people who really want to push more into providing for our families. After a long discussion that evening, Ajameng called me and said, bro, there's this agent that I really need us to look into so that we can see if we can come to Saudi Arabia. So I said, what? There's an agent? Then let's do this, bro. He was the first one to go for the meeting. So after going for the meeting, Ajameng told me that there are few spots in Saudi Arabia. So me, I really want to go, because he had come to the country. He had been in Kenya for like 6 to 7 months. And you know, people who have been traveling for a very long time and they've worked abroad, it's always hard for them to maneuver within their countries, because I don't know why. It's just that thing that they feel that, you know, I'm not meant to be here in this country. I need to go out because I'm used to that. So that's another mentality that we need to change, you know. Even in Gulf countries, you need to always think about other things, you know, other opportunities, because there are many opportunities outside there. It's about time we grab all of them. So after carefully speaking to none other than Ajameng went for the first meeting with this agent. So the agent told Ajameng that there is a spot, and if you have friends, you can make sure that you organize them to come have a meeting, have a sit down with me and all that. So he left 1 month before me. I really wanted us to go together, you know, because he was one of my friends as well, and I felt like I was all alone. But as you know, every man for himself, you know. So I wasn't an exception. After Jameng went, I decided, me, myself and I, don't worry, we had a meeting with this agent, and after a long talk, tell me there's opportunity, it's about time. So I asked, which kind of jobs do we have in Saudi Arabia? Keeping in mind that I have been doing photography, film and all that for some years, you know. So I said, I want to do, maybe I've done this and this. I gave him my certificates, and you know, the way agents usually say these things, but you know, you have to at least do anything, start by anything, and there's opportunities which will always come. So don't depend on what you study. He said, okay, no problem. But he said, carry your certificates. And that's one thing that you guys should always tell people the truth, because with this certificate that I've carried all the way here, I was lucky enough I didn't even carry. I had them in soft copy. But I've had people who came with certificates, you know, and with all their certificates, they haven't even landed a job which they studied for. So sometimes I don't know what people usually, these agents, my God. So cut the long story short, I landed in Saudi Arabia. I did a lot of work, different jobs here and there. I did in a restaurant, I did cleaning, I did farm work, I did till I landed where I am currently. But what have I learned since I came to Saudi Arabia? I've learned that you need to be disciplined, you know. I think discipline and consistency is one of the key things which many people haven't mastered for a very long time. And to me, actually, let me tell you the truth, when I landed in Saudi Arabia, I started seeing a lot of opportunities. I just told a friend of mine a few days ago that, you know, the first time I landed in Saudi Arabia, I felt like, you know, it has been an eye-opening for me, and it was day one. But there's nothing I could do, because I had to finish the small contract that I have with Saudi Arabia. So that's why I usually say that it's very important to, at least if it's possible, well, the other people who are able to see a lot of opportunities as compared to other people. You know, other people are built different. because other people have the capability of seeing these opportunities as early as when they are still young, or when they have finished their high school, or when they have finished their college or universities and all that. But other people, it's hard for them because they need that shift of from one place to another to see the opportunities that they lost or that they didn't try, which they could end up being something better, you know. So that's my short story of how I came to Saudi Arabia. Challenges have been a lot, but most of the time I don't want to fall as a victim, you know. Being a victim has never been my thing. I've always lived to see opportunities in every hard situation, and that's how I survive, you know. So anyone who has passed through a lot, even more than me, I love advising them that, you know what, try and look for opportunities in that hard situation. What is that hard situation making you as a person, as a human being? Because maybe it's tightening some bolts which had been loose in your life, you know. So yeah, I think that's about it. And I've tried as much as possible to shorten it, but the important thing is that my journey doesn't matter. Where I'm going is what matters. So even if I tell you all the deep situations that I've encountered here in Saudi Arabia, it won't matter anything, you know. At the end of the day, the important thing is that wherever you are, any situation that you're passing through, you're not the first one to pass through, and there are many other people who will pass through the same situation, or even worse than yours, or even have passed worse than yours. So what opportunity do you have? Yes, what opportunity do you have to make sure that you have surpassed that hard situation and proven to yourself that you can do more and more, you know? So that's about it, and see you in the next video, guys.